So before I say anything, I would like us to, first of all, or should I say, I would like to apologize first. Let me apologize, and I'm so honored that you were all patient to sit and be waiting for the past 20 minutes. I really thought all of you here could hear me, so I just kept on talking. So thank you so much for just waiting for the past. In fact, now it's oh my, now it's 30 minutes that I've been talking. So thank you for waiting and hanging on. I'll quickly start, just that I'm not sure I'll be able to go into depth, into details as I did when I first started, but I'll try my best. So before I say anything about discipline or punishment, I would like us to just close our eyes and for a few seconds, because I want us to remember from our childhood when you were punished in school. Just see if you can remember your childhood. Maybe you were in early years, primary school or secondary school. One moment when you were punished in school. So let it sit. If you can remember, let it sit. I can remember mine. I was in primary six. I was 10 years old then. And we were asked to put our heads on our tables, and our teachers or our teacher beat us all on our backs because the class was noisy. So that was a core memory for me, because he actually gave me an assignment with another friend of mine on his table to sort out exam scripts, or was it test scripts or exercise books? So we were on his table sorting out exercise books. But when he came into the class, he asked all of us to put our heads down and he beat us on our back. So as a child, I felt cheated. I felt that there was something wrong. I felt he didn't do the right thing. So I cried until my mom came. And when she came, she saw her baby crying. Of course, what happened? And when I told her and she looked at my back, she saw the lines. And you know what happens when a mother sees lines on the back of her child she had sent to school? She headed straight to class, and the rest is history. I will not bore you with that, but it serves as a core memory for me because I was 10 then, and I'm almost 50 now. And I still remember like it was yesterday. That's why it's very important that we are careful about what children see when they are young, what children experience when they are young, because it serves as a foundation for their life in the next 40, 50 years to come. You can open your eyes now. Now, I want you to answer this in your heart as honestly as you can. Did that punishment ever make you respect the teacher more? Or did it make you afraid of the teacher? Did it teach you a lesson? Or did it just teach you not to get caught the next time? Do you understand? This is exactly why we are here, to unpack everything this night. Because many of us are still disciplining children today the exact same way we were disciplined when we were young, without ever stopping to ask if it is actually working. Think about it. You teach children, in some schools, children are, the cane is used on children from, I'm going to use wrong, probably in their first year of school. By the time they get to their second year of school, the cane is still being used. They get to their third year of school, the cane is still being used. The fourth year, it's still being used. So tell me, if using the cane was that effective, don't you think that by year one or two, canes should have disappeared from the school environment? Of course. And if punitive measures to punishment were so effective, if schools used it in their early years, by the time the child gets to mid school, it should have been eradicated because the children must have adjusted. But guess what? Children are still developing, they're still learning. So you will continue to inflict pain on children for nothing. Honestly, that's what's just going to happen. You just keep inflicting pain on these children because you are not patient enough. So I would like us to listen to some definitions that I have. So what I have is punishment, discipline, and correction are not the same thing, yet we use them interchangeably every single day. Punishment is inflicting pain or discomfort to stop a behavior. Discipline is teaching a child how to manage themselves. You see the difference? Punishment is inflicting pain, while discipline is teaching a child how to manage themselves. And this can be done without cane. Correction is guiding a child back to the right path, and this can be done with compassion. Can you notice something? Only one of those three definitions actually require pain. And yet, in many of our schools, that is the only one we know how to practice. Tonight, I'm asking you to stop disciplining children the way we usually do, the conventional way, the way we were disciplined while growing up. Yeah, we need to stop it because things have changed. We are more informed. We are more knowledgeable now. We know what works and what doesn't work. So we have to stop it. We need more compassion. And everything starts with you, the educator, the school leader, the teacher, and me. Let's look at what Google is saying. You'll be surprised. I was surprised when I checked the definition of discipline from Google. You know what she said? The practice of training people to obey rules. That is what discipline is. To follow a specific code of conduct or control their behavior. The word originates from the Latin discipulus, meaning pupil or student. Did you think so? Did you ever guess that? And then discipliner, instruction and training, linking it directly to the lifelong process of learning and self-improvement. Punishment, on the other hand, is the imposition of a penalty, suffering, or loss, that's Google's definition, or loss upon a person or organism for a transgression of law, rule, or command. It serves to enforce societal rules, correct behavior, or deter future misconduct. So that's her definition. So let us be honest. Let's be serious. Let's look at our history. This is also what I learned about our history. That the spare the rod and spoil the child culture in Nigerian schools did not start with us. It was inherited from the colonial educational system, built, around what they called education then. And it made sure that discipline was built around control, fear, not understanding and growth. So we took that model, mixed it with our own culture. We mixed it with our own cultural respect for authority, and it became something we never questioned up till now. Because there are a lot of us that don't question these things. We just do what we met everybody doing without sitting down to ask questions to see if it actually works. We just do what everybody else is doing. And that is why we have the kind of children we have today. They're not bold, they're not confident, they don't think they matter, they don't think their opinion makes any sense, so they just keep quiet. The world has moved on a serious note. Singapore has moved on, Finland has moved on, Nigeria, we are still here. Even progressive schools right here have shown that children can be deeply respectful, disciplined, and high performing without fear-based punishment. Do you think it's possible? Do we think it's possible? Do we sincerely think it's possible? Are we willing to change? That is the question. Are we willing to change? All right, let me take you into the science of discipline or punishment for a moment, because this is where it gets very serious. And this is where, this is what interests me the most, because when you understand the science of it, then you know how to practice it, and then you believe it, and then you sustain it, and then you transfer it. When a child is punished or shouted at, humiliated or beaten or shamed, some of us like to take a child's cross to the assembly in front of every single person. So when it gets to the assembly, we embarrass the child, we shame the child, we boo the child. Guess what happens? The brain goes offline. It goes to what is called a fear response. The brain goes into what is called a fear response. And in that state, the part of the brain responsible for learning, reasoning, and self control literally shuts down. Learning doesn't take place at all. Learning doesn't take place at all. Please sit with this. We don't know this. That is why we, punish children the way we do. But the truth about it is, when we realize that the moment we scare a child, we embarrass a child, we shame a child, or we have any of these negative experiences for that child, no learning can take place. The child has gone back into his or her own world. In that state, the part of the brain responsible for learning or reasoning shuts down. Please sit with this. Please sit with this. This means that the moment you punish a child, for instance, to teach them a lesson, their brain is in no position to learn anything. You are not teaching anymore. You are just triggering survival mode on that innocent child. Because the child is stubborn, doesn't listen, or because we are impatient, we don't understand that we can't afford to scare children where learning is meant to be taking place. This is why a child can be punished for the same offense 10 times and the child will still repeat it because it wasn't corrective in nature, it was punitive in nature. Punishment does not build understanding at all, it only builds fear. And you know what? Fear will fade away the moment that threat is gone. So the moment you step out of the room, they go back and do what they're doing. Children are making noise, they're shouting, you step into the room, you scare them. The moment you step out, guess what? They're going to continue. But if you speak to them and you explain to them, they would understand. Children understand better when you speak than when you use cane. There is more change that happens when you speak than when you use cane. And you know what? You know what? Many of us, we discipline the way we were disciplined. And it's not because it works, so it's because that's how we were disciplined and that's what we are familiar with. That is why we are still doing it. And I'm sure it's because we realized it doesn't work. That is why an educator suggested that as a topic. And I'm glad. So I want all of us to ask ourselves this night, are we disciplining children to help them grow, or are we disciplining them to relieve our own frustration? Yes. Are we disciplining them to relieve our own frustration because we can't control ourselves, or it is to help them grow? Now, that question alone will change how you respond the next time a child acts up in your class. Just sit with it and listen, and think and reflect. Beyond psychology, we must also be aware that corporal punishment carries real legal and institutional risk in 2026. Many states and school policies have moved firmly against it because I've heard a lot of stories online on social media where teachers, out of impatience, end up beating up a child until that child collapses. Sometimes the child goes off, returns to Allah. Auzubillahi min dhalik. Because we're not patient or because we don't have policies in place that protect or inhibit such things from going out of hand. But beyond the law, ask yourself, what kind of school do we really want to build? Is it one where children comply because they are scared, or one where children behave because they respect themselves? Which one? Which one? I can see a few requests. Kindly hold on. Once I'm done, then we would we'll discuss, we'll unmute mics and then we can discuss openly. Just be patient with me, please. So what do we intend to do now? I'll give you alternatives because I'm sure while I'm talking, you'll be wondering what I'm saying because you're wondering how you can actually discipline children without that punitive side of punishment. So let me give an example. Okay, I'll be fast. I'm almost done. You have ensuring that you have natural and logical consequences. So where there are consequences for whatever has been done wrong, you find out that it is corrective in nature. Discipline is corrective in nature because whatever consequence that has to, be accorded to that child is what is going to happen. It's going to relate to whatever the child has done. It is a consequence for that act. It's like a child doing something wrong, Maybe you have told the child not to spill rice, lunch on the table. And because the child does it frequently, you now tell the child to go and kneel down. For crying out loud, what has kneeling down got to do with pouring rice on the table? The immediate consequence is pick up the rice grains. That is it. So tomorrow again, if you spill rice on the table, if you pour rice on the table while having your lunch, you're going to pick it with your tiny fingers. You're going to pick it up. Not kneel down, not cane, not yelling. Just ask the child to pick it up. And if you want to enforce discipline, you can decide on your own, out of creativity, to fix a slot for the most exciting, fun activities right after lunch so that the child who spills or pours rice on the table will not partake. What do you think that is doing? When the child is eating rice the next day, because he or she knows that there's a fun activity right after lunch, that child will be very careful while eating lunch. So that's a very creative way of correcting and disciplining that child without making it punitive. So that is one. You can apply this across all situations. Just be creative and you see that you'll be successful with it. Then another point I would like to share is instead of saying, why did you do it? Why did you do it? Accusatory. It automatically puts a child on the other side of you. You are interrogating, you are judging, and the child feels insecure and scared already. So rather than doing that, I would prefer you say, what happened? Give the child a voice. Let the child breathe. What happened? And you genuinely want to know what happened. You don't need to fake it. You really want to know what happened. And this requires your own patience. It requires your compassion because sometimes when terrible things happen, we might lose it and react rather than respond with compassion. And this repairs relationships instead of just delivering punishment to children. Another point is we are so quick to react to bad behavior and so slow to acknowledge good behavior. Why don't we flip that? So sometimes we can overlook certain behaviors that we do not want to acknowledge. It's negative in nature, but we don't want to give it attention. When a child who does something good, let us escalate that. Meaning, energy is given to positivity, not negativity. And when children see that a lot of energy and effort is put into celebrating good behavior, what do you think is going to happen? You know how children are. The child who finally sits quietly deserves your attention just as much as the child who is disrupted. So if children are disrupting and you want to give consequences, then the children who are sitting quietly the way you want should also be acknowledged for their own patience. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Then when a child acts up, your calm is more powerful than your anger. Let me take that again. When a child acts up, your calm is more powerful than your anger. A lowered voice, a pause, a private word will often achieve more than public confrontation would ever will. I'm telling you this as a fact, as a matter of fact, from experience. And I'm sure some of us have experienced that as well. The students, another point is the students who misbehave the most are often the ones who feel least connected to you. Do you know that? So when you see a child who is so disruptive, give them attention. That's all they want. Give them attention, greet them, notice them, acknowledge them. Any little thing they do that is positive, cheer them up. You will be shocked at the turnaround. I'm telling you, let's not let our impatience get in the way. Ask about their day. Connection, real connection, is actually prevention. I'm telling you. So I know some of you are thinking, this woman doesn't know what she's saying. But this woman, she's not living in reality. That these African children, she has not met stubborn children. This woman does not know what she's talking about. These children, or maybe this woman has not met this particular child, you know. Or should I say that today, children of today don't fear anything. But that line of thinking is the problem. And I seriously hear you. I understand. I understand. Honestly, I understand because I've been in the classroom for so many years. I've worked with teachers for so many years, so many teachers. So I know I've met the gentle ones, the stubborn children, those who don't listen, those who are just out to frustrate you, those who forget every single time you remind them. I have seen them. And I'm not saying be soft because sometimes when I say things like this, teachers misinterpret me and think that I mean be soft. How can you be soft? You can be soft and still be highly disciplined. Positive discipline is not the absence of structure, it is discipline with dignity. Boundaries still exist, consequences still exist. The difference is how do we deliver them? How do we deliver them? We need to sit down, ask ourselves if we ourselves are not traumatized. Because some of us are so traumatized that we transfer it to children. And we don't even know that it's the trauma that is making us light up every single time. Or should I say, fire up every single time one child does something wrong. We just explode. There are traumas that have been unresolved. That is a fact. By the time we calm down and we understand that children are children, we understand how the brain works, how children learn, we understand the nature of children, and we understand that we were once children, we will be more accommodating. A firm teacher and a fearful classroom are not the same thing. You can be firm, consistent, and deeply respected without ever raising your hand. So I'm going to stop here now and we are going to unmute our mics and let's have a short discussion because it's already getting so late. Every child who walks through our gates is going to become someone's husband, someone's wife, someone's employee, someone's leader. The way we discipline them today is quietly shaping the adults they will become tomorrow. Let's remember that. Punishment teaches a child to fear authority. And it takes away their mind. It takes away their voice. It doesn't help them to know how to discern what is right from wrong. Discipline, on the other hand, teaches a child to become someone who does not need to be watched to do the right thing. That is the real win. When children understand the difference between when teachers understand the difference between punishment and discipline. Punishment teaches a child to fear authority, and discipline teaches a child to become someone who does not need to be watched to do the right thing. And this is real. It doesn't mean a quiet classroom means that they are disciplined, no. But a self-disciplined human being for life is someone who has been well disciplined by you. So, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, this is all I have for you. And I would like us to join in the conversation and request to speak. I think I can grant requests now. All right. All right. Now, I've granted you your request.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Where are you joining us from?
Yes, I'm joining you from Kano State Uyiba Comprehensive School.
Kano State. All right.
Yes. Thanks for the contributions given. And I just have some few questions to ask, if you don't mind, please.
Please go ahead.
Okay. My first question is, I just want to ask, if we remove punishment completely, How do we teach children that action? How do we teach children that actions have consequences, and that some behaviors are unacceptable? uh, and I have this issue. Like my school, I have 100 of children. So in a school where this kind of situation happen, how can teachers maintain order and fairness without any form of punishment? I think I have another question. If a child repeatedly violates rules after guidance, counseling, and correction, what approach should be taken to protect other students and the learning environment? I think these are my questions for now. Thank you very much.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. So the first question is about you already having an established place where you have children, about 100 children, and you want to take away punishment completely. The truth is,
That's the second question.
okay, what's the first question?
The first one is, if we remove punishment completely,
Yes.
how do we teach children that actions have consequences and that some behaviors are unacceptable?
All right. Let
Yes,
me
that's my first question.
okay, let me quickly take it in this way. You know, when we want to solve a problem completely,
Right.
it's always good we start from the root, from the bottom, not from the top. So if you're going to handle this particular matter, the very first thing to do is to have sessions with the teachers because they are the beginning. They are the ones in direct contact with the children. So the first thing is to have sessions with the teachers over and over again to train them on exactly how to handle children, how to teach children that there are consequences for every action. So, what I would advise is the school should pick probably the three most commonly, um, should I say, exhibited traits when it comes to indiscipline, right? We'll list the three, probably noise making, maybe loitering, all over the compound after break time, or, what else? Maybe fighting or something like that.
Let's say
You
not
want,
doing assignments.
okay, beautiful, not doing assignment. Now, you want the teachers to be fully engaged with you as a leader. Train them about patience, about emotional regulation. That is very important. They have to be able to understand, number one, that they are the adults in the classroom. That is one. Then, two, they have to understand that children will be children. Then, number three, they have to understand that cane cannot solve the problem. Once they understand this, then we can go to the next thing. Now, picking children not doing homework. First of all, look at yourself. Is the homework too much? Is the homework too frequent? Is the homework too difficult? That is one. I'm talking about the teachers now before we go to the children. And I'm picking an example homework. So ask yourself these questions. If you notice it's too much, reduce it because you are trying to create a disciplined environment. So you want to make it easy for the school, easy for the teachers, and easy for the children. So if it is homework you want to treat, start by reducing. Start, please, can you mute your mic? Who is that? Start by reducing the complexity of the homework and the quantity of the homework so that it's easy for the children to do. That is one. Then you now have an orientation with the children because I don't believe in giving consequences if you don't teach children what these consequences are. So you inform them about these consequences. That henceforth, A is going to happen if you don't do your homework. And that A that is going to happen is because you didn't do your homework. And we must follow through. There is no forgiving, there is no overlooking, because now they have all been told that this is the consequence for not doing your homework. At the same time, those who do their homework must be celebrated. You can decide to take it one step at a time. Maybe you can use one term to focus on homework. You use the second term to focus on maybe punctuality or neatness or loitering or something like that. You can face it squarely and take it as a project. It can be project based learning. or a problem-based project that you want to sort out. And every single teacher should be on deck. All parents should be on deck. Now, a consequence for not doing it, let me give you an example, because there was a time I was teaching primary 5 and I noticed that the children weren't doing their homework. So what I did was that I went to buy colorful stickers, very beautiful stickers, and I had a chart on my wall. So I told my children that if you do your homework consistently for 10 days, you're going to get a sticker. So, of course, in a classroom, you have a number of children who always do their homework. There are some who miss on some days and some, who do it on some days. And there are some who hardly ever do it. By the end of my program, almost 100% of my children were doing their homework. And what I used to do then was that every child, it became a game. So it was fun for them and they were always looking forward to doing their homework. So those stickers, once you do your homework, if I get into the classroom, everybody, okay, we do your homework, we do the homework correction immediately, and then you get 1 point. So Miriam can say, oh, now I have 5 points. Abdullah can say, I have 2 points. Somebody else can say, I have 6 points, meaning he has done his homework every day consistently without missing. In fact, there's a particular girl, Miriam, there was a time she did her homework consistently until the 9th day. Then she didn't do her homework. I had to take her back to 0. So she went back to 0 and had to start climbing every day, one by one. And the moment you do it 10 times, I put a beautiful sticker by your name. So it was something that everybody was looking forward to. And I tried my best to make it interesting. So if the teacher is creative, you can shift the attention from punishment to reward. So rather than say, I'm going to punish you for not doing your homework, I shifted my own attention to, you're going to get rewarded if you do your homework. And it worked. So that is for homework. Can we have another example of how we can shift everyone's attention? Because you know what? If you are consistent, if the teacher doesn't forget, because some teachers are not disciplined. So there's no way we can discipline children if we ourselves are slack or we are not disciplined. Your teachers must be disciplined to be able to have disciplined children. If the teachers aren't disciplined, how do we want to do that? Let me give another example. There was a time we had flowers. We had flower stickers that we placed around the walls all over the school, and it looked so beautiful that when children walked in, the first thing they would do is walk onto those flowers and peel them up, peel them up. So we didn't know. We'd just come out after break and realize that all our beautiful flowers has been torn off the wall. So we had to devise a means. So rather than punishing or yelling at children, because they are children, they're inquisitive. They want to see they want to see how to take off the flower. They want to play with it because it looks beautiful. So what we did was that we told everyone that, do you like how beautiful your school looks? They all said yes. All right. Do you want our school to look ugly? They said no. I said, okay. So do you want it to always look beautiful? They said yes. Okay, fine. So we want you to do something for us. If you see anybody tearing up these flower stickers, come and tell us. And guess what? We had student police in our school. Once any child is tearing up, they'll say, no, 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 don't tear it up. They'll quickly run and come and tell us that Abdullah is trying to tear off the stickers from the wall. And when we did that, and we were very creative about it, every teacher was on deck. Guess what? Nothing happened anymore. All our flowers are intact on the wall. So the only attention we had to pay towards, the only time we had to pay attention were to new children. So when new children came, we would now focus on them and make sure that they adjusted to not touching the walls. Let me give an example of a slack school environment. There was a time when we hung up our beautiful posters. You just find out that after break, it is torn. Or closing time, or you come after 2 days or 2 weeks to find out that, all right, one part is torn. When you ask that why is this part of this cardboard or this colorful paper torn, the teachers can say, I don't know. I just came and I saw it. So you came and you saw it and you were fine with it. You didn't say anything about it. You didn't ask who tore it. You didn't get to the bottom. And then a typical response is, I've been talking to them, I've been trying, but they don't listen. So because you've been talking to them, you have been trying and they don't listen, then you just let it fly. That is indiscipline at peak because you are relaxed. You're not interested in ensuring that there is a change in behavior and there is a shift in behavior. I don't know. Do you understand what I'm saying? Are you there with me? So
Yes, I'm
that
there with you. I'm there
uh
with
yes. So it begins with the teacher. It begins with the school leader. It begins with us ourselves. We should see how we can see that we are disciplined, we are punctual, we are diligent in our services to the children. Once we can get disciplined, sincerely, it will be very, very easy to discipline children because we are not going to let anything pass. We wouldn't let anything pass. So teachers have to be trained on how to be patient and how to accommodate children and how children think, how children behave. Their intention is not to cause trouble or to cause problem. They are just naturally spontaneous. They are spontaneous. They don't think. They just jump and do what they want to do. They don't understand when we shout. To them, you are making noise. They can't wait for you to stop making noise so that they can continue making noise. You understand? So we can actually have consequences explained to children clearly. And where there is a consequence, we must play that out. There is no forgiving. They must see that there is a consequence for doing A and there's a consequence for doing B. There was a particular time that we had, I was in charge of a secondary school, and a child, I think he didn't do his homework or he didn't copy his notes after he has been told to copy his notes. And then his parents came to pick him up. And we told the mom that he's not going anywhere until he copies his notes. So for her, she was upset because she was being delayed. So she asked that we should allow him to come home and write the notes and she would ensure he copies it because she's in a hurry. And we said no, that he's big enough. He's not a primary school child, he's in secondary school, he's wiser. So she waited and he copied that note. He finished what he was supposed to do before we let him go back. Tomorrow, guess what? The mother is going to ensure that he doesn't waste her time anymore. So we are going to get back up from home and we are going to ensure that we keep to our rules. The thing is, some school leaders are scared of losing children. So they bend over backwards, and they they fall short when it comes to standards because they want to retain parents. But the truth is the children, they are our priority. Giving the children value is our priority. The children come first. What would benefit the children comes first. And then when the children begin to get disciplined and they are being reformed, guess what? The parents are going to be happy. So that is the first question. Have I done justice to your question, to the first question?
you. Yeah, yes, you did. Yes, you did actually.
Yes,
You did.
Alhamdulillah.
So
What about the second one?
thank you very much. Yes, the second one is about the student with a number of students. So, how can teachers maintain order and fairness without any form of punishment?
I think it's even
Hello.
intertwined in the first question. Yeah, because
Yes.
if you have teachers,
Yes.
yeah, if you have teachers who are disciplined themselves, some of us, we have teachers who are not so disciplined. And the school leader has to be firm because if a teacher cannot give out what they don't have, if you have orange, you cannot bring out apple juice from orange. So if you have a teacher who is not disciplined as a person, it will be difficult for that teacher to discipline a child with compassion. So the beginning is ensuring that teachers are on track. Teachers are on track when it comes to understanding how children think because children will misbehave. Once it's established that children will misbehave, they will make noise, they would fall out of order, they will not copy their notes, they might cheat in an examination, they might be rude to a teacher. Once we understand that, it's part of growing. Once we understand that, we will know that when you are dealing with teenagers, you do not engage. You do not engage with them. When you are dealing with children, there is more compassion that is expected. So we ourselves need to be disciplined first. Then we need to be able to outline all the consequences for children. Of course, be first of all within the staff and management. Establish this clearly, even if it means only five, the most frequent offenses, five of them. You don't need to, some schools will have up to 20. No, no, just pick five. The five core offenses that children usually commit. Pick five of them, decide on consequences, have a meeting on strategies you're going, the consequences for those five. Just make it simple. Then you have a serious orientation with children about how you want them to, definitely not to threaten them, but to encourage them that now we want to do the best for you. We want you to be wonderful children, the best children. We are planning something big for our school, but we need to train you. And this is what we want you to start doing. Mind you, it is a disciplinary activity. In their mind, because of your approach, you are trying to encourage them towards good behavior. But for you as educators, you are laying and setting down ground rules. So you're going to tell them that, so to be able to help you to become better and more disciplined, this is what we are going to do. You can even have the consequences chosen along with them. There was a particular child who lied, and our method of getting children, not to lie is so compassionate it will shock you. This child lied. Luckily, we were able to use the CCTV to find out that a particular boy was responsible. But we didn't want to tell him or pull him out. We just had a general assembly. And we told everybody that this thing was missing and it was taken from this class. And we want the person to come to my office and tell me that person. So just go to the director's office. Nothing is going to happen to you. We are not going to tell anybody that you are the one. But before it's 1 o'clock, we want you to come. So all of us were looking at the child. We didn't let the child see us, but we knew who did that thing, and we didn't want the child. What he did was that he took somebody's snack. He took it, and we saw him through the camera. So we announced that if you know that you are the one, just go and see the director. Nothing is going to happen to you, and we are not going to tell anybody that you are the one that took it. So you see, that's kind of created a cushion for that child. It created some form of emotional safety for that child. That child was able to build trust with authority without being scared. And the child walked into my office and came to me and just started begging. I think he was in primary 3 then. He just started begging that I'm the one. I will not do it again. I'm very sorry, ma. I will not. I said, don't worry. Don't worry. I'm just happy that you came to tell me. And we admonished him. And in fact, he just blossomed after that. When children think they're in so much trouble and they realize that nothing happens to them and compassion is what they got, they transform, especially where they see that the school they are in is a school of discipline, order, and structure. They wouldn't repeat it again. But if it's a school where anything goes and that child doesn't face consequences, then guess what's going to happen? It's going to repeat itself again. So we had to ask the child to write Astaghfirullah 100 times. You see that Astaghfirullah relates to stealing. You are asking for forgiveness from Allah that you will not go back again. Allah should forgive you. You have owned up. You are forgiven. You are seeking for forgiveness, and then there's tawbah. You won't do it again. So everything must link to the offense that has been made. But it starts with authority. It starts with the school leaders and the teachers. You have to have a serious meeting, because we cannot start with the children. We can't just start with the children. Have one meeting and say, okay, if your children do this, you just create a document and expect you. They can't follow through. It starts with the teachers. It starts with the school leaders. Have a personal discussion with yourself. What are your childhood traumas that are still triggering you, making you explode on little things? Sometimes when we explode, we don't even see that whatever we are exploding over is so simple and can be handled easily. But we have exploded, we have escalated, and then we scare everybody and wonder why the children aren't passing. Because you are a terror. So we're not even solving the problems. So it starts with the leader, it starts with the teachers. And this is a very crucial way on how to stop conclusively any form of bad behavior. It starts with the discipline of the educators, the leaders themselves. And then extend more compassion and create more emotional safety. That school will be so disciplined it will shock you, but don't make it too many. If you want to start with just 3, start with 3, but do it with love in the air, not threatening. Don't threaten them. If you threaten them, they will just be dodging. Oh, okay, he's coming. Oh, she's coming. Okay, keep quiet. They will not understand what you're doing. So it has to be fully intentional and you have to drop strategies that would help you. I hope this works. Any other question? Was I able to answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Alhamdulillah. Do we have any questions before we end it for today? Okay. No more questions? Are we sure? We had so many people join initially when I was talking to myself. I didn't realize. All right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you, Ma, for the contribution. We really appreciate. My question here is, how do we handle a whole class that has nonchalant attitude towards learning, reading? They are not hardworking at all. Even if the teachers are really trying, they don't care. How do we handle them, please?
Are they secondary school children or primary school pupils?
They are secondary school pupils.
Yes, very typical of secondary school students. I understand. You know, with secondary school children, I want you to know that number one, it is common amongst so many secondary schools that I've been to. It's something that is common among secondary school students. So probably one, what I'll suggest is look for an activity that those children love. Okay? But it has to start with the teacher. Like I said, everything starts with the teacher. Check yourself. Are you a boring teacher? Are you skilled at what you do? Are you a specialist at what you do? Are you boring or are you interesting? Is your lesson interactive or your lesson is not interactive?
Before.
The kind of assignments you give them, are they hands on? Are they project based? Do the children speak a lot in class? Is it, there's this model that I always encourage for the 21st century where children take hold of their classes and teachers take the back seat. The teachers just guide and the children take full control, and it's always very interesting.
Okay.
When children are the ones that are leading the class, you will be surprised that they lead the class, they select their projects, they can't wait for lessons to happen because you have adjusted your model to suit their own way of thinking. So I understand. Children at this age are growing. Teenagers are growing. They are discovering who they are. Their bodies are changing. Hormones are jumping everywhere. So as adults, these are the things that we need to take into consideration. They will have nonchalant attitude because they will feel you don't understand. They always feel they know everything, that the teachers don't understand. They have an opinion of everything. So if we understand this, we would know how to approach our lesson. Give them tasks in class. Make them do a lot of hands-on activities. Children love hands-on activities. Most projects, most topics can be translated into hands-on sections. So make sure that you have hands-on activities and then you assign tasks to groups. You assign them to groups and give those groups tasks and let them create. Let them browse. Okay, we are going to be doing this today. I would like you to browse on this, get us the information and read it out. You're going to be taking pictures. You're going to create the slides, and we are going to sit down here and do the measurements and the cutting. Guess what? Learning is going to take place. But if your lesson is boring, and you just go to the class and you are talking to yourself, they will be praying for you to leave. That is the truth. That is the truth. So we need to impute 21st century learning skills into our learning. The way they think has to be the way we teach. If we teach the way we taught when we were young, we are not teaching them. We are just slowing them down. We are boring them. Children today are totally different. They are nothing like how we were when we were young. At all. At all. So you need to go back to the drawing board. I don't know how your children are, but you know them best. Look at what the problem is. Analyze yourself first. Analyze yourself first. be sincere and ask a colleague to probably observe your class one day and then give you honest feedback. Or you record yourself teaching one day and have a look. You'll be shocked at the feedback you're going to get just from watching yourself teach. Then you would understand how the children feel. So if you get feedback from yourself, then you will know. Mind you, I always am of the opinion that when you are having lessons with children, you are the one responsible because you are the adult in the class, not the children. So it is your fault. Everything that goes wrong is your fault because you are the one that is responsible for learning and teaching. Okay? So it's your job to create it, it's your job to make it fun, it's your job to make it interactive, it's your job to make it productive. And having full knowledge and full grasp of 21st century skills would give you ideas on how to play out your class. And if you do this well, inshallah, your classroom will be transformed. And this is not to you alone, Fatima, it's to all educators. Okay? You have to look at yourself first. Nam,
Thank
did I
you.
answer your question?
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Okay, okay. So please just read about 21st century skills.
No.
You know. All right. All right. So should we close here? Should we close today? All right. So I would be closing now, and then if there's any question, you can ask on the group, and we can just respond to those who aren't able to join, and we can just finish it up there. So I'll be saying, Fatima, which states are you speaking from? You can all mute your mics. I'd like to know the states you're all speaking from. You can mute your mics. You can request to speak so that I'll just give you grant permission. All right, which states are you speaking from? You can please take up the stage. Okay, let me give permission to this person. There's somebody here. All right, you've been approved. Okay. All right, I'm allowing everyone to speak. Which states are you speaking from, please? I'd like to know.
I'm speaking from Kaduna.
All right, we have Kaduna. Mashallah.
I'm
Anybody else?
speaking from Lagos.
Oh, beautiful. We have Lagos. Anybody else? Do we have anybody else? We have Lagos, we have Kano, we have Kaduna. Go again. Let's see. Is that all? Kaduna, Kano, Lagos. Do we have Abuja here? Do we have any Abuja? Do we have Katsina here? Do we have Niger State? No, we don't have Niger State. Do we have UK? Do we have Canada? Oh boy. Do we have Ghana? Do we have Kenya? Oh, beautiful. We have Ghana. That's nice. All right then. Alhamdulillah. So I think we will end here and then we'll be seeing you inshallah next week. So should we continue with Twitter or we should use TikTok next? Which one is better?
This Twitter is better for me.
Okay. Maybe what you can do is we can do a poll because somebody was still asking about TikTok on the group. So we can do a poll for this one and then TikTok and see. Because it's usually easier. I've used TikTok before and it's very easy to
And
navigate.
the accepts data. It saves data more than the TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok uses data, especially if it is the video.
Video, yes.
But if it's not the video, if we use the audio feature, I think there's less data.
Okay.
So we can just take a poll. We can ask everyone to choose, and then the one with the most options, then we just adopt what everybody wants. All right. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Thank you so much for joining me this night. We'll see you again same time next week, inshallah. Subhanak Allahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum.